Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Had to wait for the lyrics to start up. Tribe, nice pick, Annapolis.
Q-Tip and Fife Dog, love it.
All the time, Fife.
Rest in peace, Fife.
And all of Sublime.
Yes.
I don't. Again, we guess sometimes if these musicians are alive still.
The Sublime Massacre of
well,
1994.
I'm pretty sure the guy who is the lead singer is out.
He is.
He's the only one that matters when it comes to that sound.
Don't do drugs, kids.
All right. Welcome back, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Appreciate you being on the program here with us. We're kicking off this hour with the cut as we always do. We're going to dip in on a national voice when it comes to the NBA. Because heaven knows we need to look outside of this market for a minute just so we can feel like we're alive as we get down to 7 games with the Utah Jazz here. The rest of the league, of course, on the verge of getting to the playoffs. And let's kick it off right here. Jared Weiss is our guest, and that's where we start things off with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TRAJANwealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. Jared Weiss covers the NBA for The Athletic. Also focuses in on the Spurs as well. Not a bad time to be following this Spurs team. Jared, thanks for being with us again, man.
I got to say, of all the lead-ins I've ever gotten to a radio hit, don't do drugs, kids. It's got to be the best story.
That's what you get in Utah. That's the message we get. We give it out once a day in Utah.
Hey, that message resonates anywhere.
Come on. I know. Well, look. And it was all just based off of the fact that a lot of the artists we listen to, you go, I think their lead singer's dead. Yeah, that's unfortunately how it works in the music world. It's not good. But Jared, you're picking an awesome time to be able to cover the Spurs team. You've been through a lot, probably covering the Spurs team, and we're going through it here in Utah when it comes to a team who is not used to the stretch of years that they've had to put up with losses and doing the whole back and forth of the lottery and the hopes and dreams that sometimes brings and a lot of times doesn't. So this Spurs team, what is it that made them make such a big jump? I know that having personnel is great, but there's also like a learning to win aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's an obvious one. We'll skip over that. It's too obvious, right? Anybody could tell you that. But for them, it's the layers of depth and buy-in that they've gotten across the roster. Like, it just starts with they traded for De'Aaron Fox, and he's an all-star, now a 2-time all-star, who is, like, happy to take a back seat. And it's just hard to find, like, a max player, a former all-star, guy that's won Clutch Player of the Year, to be, like, fine with being like, all right, I'm not going to take the last shot, no problem. Like, he has this perspective where he gets it. He's like, I'm here to be the Robin to who could end up being the greatest Batman that we've seen, like the Michael Keaton or the Christian Bale of Batmans. I don't know. I guess it depends how old you are.
Sure.
And so, like, he's happy to do it. Steph Castle is emerging as probably going to be a perennial all-star. And he's just, like, totally happy to share touches with De'Aaron. Dylan Harper is the number 2 pick in the draft. The guys drafted around him are already superstars. He's coming off the bench, and every time I ask him about it, he's like, bro, I play with Victor Wembanyama. Like, I don't care. I want to win a championship. They just picked all these guys, and I'm just talking about the stars now. You get to the Keldon Johnsons, Devin Vassell's, Julian Champagne's, Harrison Barnes. Like, you could just keep going their run. Brian Wright and Mitch Johnson, guys running that team, they've done a great job putting together a harmonious system.
And look, obviously there was some luck involved in it, but the Spurs built it through a combination of things. But we all know that they tanked to get Wembanyama, and they have a history of this and a history of hitting on it. And it's a big topic in the NBA right now. You're immersed in this. Do you have any suggestions on what to do about this, or is it silly that we're even debating it? Because this is unfortunately just what you have to do in order to get those difference makers that take you to a championship.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the lottery is to take away like a little bit of, introduce a little bit of randomness, but like to try to cycle over long periods of time the competitive balance in the league, which is necessary. It is. And I definitely worry about some of the suggestions for lottery reform about them, leaving some franchises completely hapless for a long time. And I guess maybe that's not really going to be any different than it is now. I mean, the Sacramento Kings do exist, but it's clear that they need to do something. I don't know if what they need to do is necessarily change the way the lottery works, but rather maybe to give the commissioner more power to make ad hoc decisions, like to be able to find teams or punish teams way more severely than they already have done. This whole conversation really came to a head, and it's the thing that keeps getting brought up to me over and over again, is when the Jazz rested their guys in the fourth quarter of that game. Like, that's what it was. That's what broke the camel's back. And, Silver came down like hard, but he could have come down a lot harder. And maybe the NBA Constitution limits how hard he's able to come down on these teams. I think that's where you'd want to make the changes. So therefore, you can kind of like put out these fires when they happen without taking away the competitive balance thing. But it's going to change. And I think we all just got to embrace the fact that it's going to change. And hopefully it will at least restore a little bit of faith in people's perception of the game, which is already right now really, really in trouble between that and Kalshi and Polymarket and all these betting companies exploding. The league has a credibility issue, and it's not a 5-alarm fire, but I can hear the alarm. I'm sure you guys can hear the alarm right now too, and they got to do something before it gets louder.
100%.
So I was looking at these standings, at least yesterday. I think we were, I'll refresh my memory on some of these numbers here, but between 3 and 6 in the Western Conference, it's now 3.5 games that separate 3 and 6. Yesterday it was 3. The Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Rockets, and that's it. Yeah, Lakers, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Rockets. That 3 to 6, everybody has a very similar record. My question for you is, out of those teams, which one actually has a chance to contend with the Spurs or the Thunder in that Western Conference to be able to get to the NBA Finals?
I mean, listen, Jokic is the guy that probably would scare the Spurs the most. He's the guy that is kind of toughest for them to match up with. And also, Wemby might have to guard him. And the Spurs' success has very much been predicated on Wemby plays zone for most of the game. Wemby just parks in the paint, and they manage to do it in a way that doesn't break the rules, and they manage to do it in a way that conserves his energy. If they can't do that, that's going to completely change the team, most likely. So we'll see. I mean, that's the guy that I would be most concerned of on the Spurs. On the Thunder, it's a little different because they do have a lot of personnel that matches up well. Minnesota is probably the team that would scare me the most, depending on how their offense is put together. And then right now, I mean, hey, Luka is averaging 70 points a game right now. So there's a lot of good answers. Houston's the only team that you're not as worried about right now, just because one, their offensive spacing has been an issue, and they haven't been the same since the KD burner scandal, and the vibes have just not been good there right now. So they're probably going to finish in 6, and so the order will probably look reasonably accurate relative to how good these teams are, how much of a threat they actually are. But it certainly seems like the West, the representative of the West, is most likely going to be one of those top 2 teams.
You look at the Spurs, and the 9-game winning streak right now is impressive. 57-18 is impressive. It's just, and Wembanyama is a freak, and their rosters are great. And people here in Utah hate to admit it, but the Spurs are great, and everything that they've done is perfect. But you can't skip steps in this league What gives them the confidence, and what are you seeing from this team that gives them confidence that they can skip those steps? Because going from not making the playoffs to all of a sudden contending, that's quite a jump.
Well, look at like Cleveland last year. So Cleveland, they won 60 games also. I think the Spurs were at 58 or 59. I'm pretty sure they're going to get to 60.
Yeah.
That was a team that had a really clear identity. Then they got to the playoffs. They lost. One of their guys got hurt. Darius Garland got hurt. Their spacing didn't really work as well in the postseason, and they fell off to a team that just had a really clear identity and hit the gas at the right time. Indiana, and look at what Indiana did. They almost won the championship, and who knows, maybe they would have won it if it weren't for the injury. The Spurs' identity, I think, to their credit, it changes very frequently. They're a very adaptive team. Obviously, they're relying on Wemby. Like, if Wemby gets hurt, then obviously they're not going to win. Who cares? Whatever. That's obvious. They have a bunch of different guys that can run their offense, and they adapt well to different defenses. And Wemby in particular operates in very different ways depending on the opponent. So their versatility just makes me think they're going to be very playoff resilient, because whoever they face, they're going to be able to change their game plan up. They're going to be able to maybe tweak lineups a little bit. But most importantly, their star player will be happy to adapt. And he's not locked in to exactly the way he plays. In fact, what's interesting about Victor is while Victor can really put his foot on the throat of the opponent, his game is almost passive in a way a lot of the time, where he's the roll man. Like the guards just kind of run in circles until eventually someone forgets to touch Victor, and then Victor's just standing 30 feet over the hoop and they just throw the ball in the air. That's how they win these games. So I think that they're built to be playoff resilient, and they already have a lot of guys that like to be intense, that like to compete. And so the intensity of the postseason probably won't be the issue. It's more of the complexity and layers and adjustments and tendency things that come into play in the postseason. That's going to be probably the part where a lot of those guys struggle. And Victor, as amazing as he's been, teams that beat the crap out of him and throw him to the floor, he's getting better at handling that, but we haven't seen him have to handle that every single game over and over. So we'll see how he holds up on a playoff run.
So the owners were supposed to have a vote, I think, a preliminary vote on the possibility of expansion and what that looks like. Everybody talks about Seattle and Las Vegas, almost like it's a done deal. Feels like that. I grew up a Sonics fan, and so it was always been weird that they haven't been in the league, but I wonder if there's anything in the way that would make it to where this expansion situation doesn't happen. Is there a possibility that either of those cities are not necessarily going to be able to make it happen, or is this just kind of one of these things we're waiting for everything to get solved before the next round of expansion happens?
There's definitely a chance it's not going to happen. Here's why. The league has been, there's been reports that the league wants $7 billion, $8 billion for an expansion fee, which would make them the second most expensive sale ever, right, to the Lakers. And they're counting on rapid inflation on these franchise valuations really, really quickly, almost immediately. And two, a Vegas team is probably worth a lot more than a Seattle team. So there's no way they're going to go for the same price. The Seattle market and the Vegas market are two very different markets. So, and I don't know the economics of it. Maybe they even out in their value between local fans in Seattle versus, transient fans in Vegas. I don't really know. But there's certainly a lot more money to be made in partnerships and advertising revenue and blah, blah, blah in Vegas, right? So I just don't see how the league is going to get $8 billion or whatever the number that people really are throwing around is on Seattle. And so then what happens if they can only get the price that they want on one of these teams and not the other? And also, there's a lot more people that are trying to get into business in Vegas than there are trying to get into business in Seattle. So I'm a little dubious that they're going to get what they want, but they're probably still going to get enough money to make it worthwhile, right? But it seems like the whole point of expansion has always been to try to get those expansion fees divvied out to all the owners.
Wemby recently made his case for MVP, and I get it. Can you make the case for Wemby for MVP, or is you just look at SGA and Jokic and even Luka and think he's not quite ready for that consideration yet? What is the case for Wemby?
I mean, go watch a game. It's not that complicated. Watch a game. His numbers are very good. They're not elite, but they are very good. And then you watch a game and you see how much of the box score doesn't capture what he does. I've been working on doing some research with some analytics folks to try to use tracking data to capture what he does, and the tracking data makes it look like he's kind of an outlier as the best player in the NBA in a lot of different ways. So he's a very different player than those guys. I mean, he's on the track to becoming a similar type of player to Jokic. He's not the passer that Jokic is, but the way that he moves around the court, the way that the ball funnels through him is becoming more and more similar to the style of play that Jokic does as time goes on, even if the way that they literally move is very different. And so, Wemby's main case, and this is the case that he made to me, and that we then had him do publicly in a press conference, is the number one thing is defense is 50% of the game. And I even argued to him that if you're a center, which he scoffed at because he's like, I'm not quite a center, don't put me in that box. But center defense might be 70% of their value on the court, really. And look at his defense, man. Guys just run away from him. They literally just teams have. Doc Rivers just said it. Actually, talking about his offense, but I'd say it applies more even to his defense. That you have to change your game plan when you face it because he's just a completely different animal to contain. Because if he's able to stand untouched anywhere in the paint, the play's over. They just throw it up to him, and they do it 5-6 times a night. He just the gravity that he has is so much stronger than anybody else. He's even stronger than Jokic. And so much of what he does doesn't get captured in the box score. But then you look at they're taking the most corner 3-pointers ever. They were a team that wasn't even supposed to be a good 3-point shooting team, and they're doing well just because he creates so many open shots. So if you watch the game, you will see it. He is someone that is impacting every possession on both sides of the floor. His aggregate impact over the course of the game is probably higher than everybody else's.
I look at the way that the league is going. You mentioned all of the betting house relationships that, frankly, every sport is trying to figure out how to balance that out and how to work it. Have we gotten any update about the guys that have been? I think we just forgot about Chauncey Billups and he just sort of went away, and I'm sure that's what the NBA probably hopes for. But do they have any kind of movement on the scandals that have busted out from some of the betting stuff? And obviously trying to nip that stuff in the bud is really, really tough if you're Adam Silver. But do we know anything about where that stands with these guys who were taken from their teams and all the past investigations that were ongoing?
I'm not up to speed on the court cases, but I mean, the wheels of justice do move pretty slowly, right? So I think they all got their plea deals in, and I'm sure there's been some more hearings, or there's another hearing coming soon. I don't know what part of these things are sealed or not, but it is an ongoing federal investigation. So oftentimes stuff gets sealed on that. But I mean, it's going to come back up, and I think eventually, once these trials begin and evidence starts getting out to the public, that's when stuff is really going to come to a head. So I'm sure that story is not going to completely die out. It's going to get revived multiple times.
You look at the standings, and it just looks like there's this big gap between the Western Conference and Eastern Conference. But is there a team in the East that has any chance to win a title this year against whoever comes out of the West?
Well, yeah. I mean, Jason Tatum just came back, right? So that's probably the most obvious one. They've been playing well. He just won Player of the Week. The guy came back pretty early from an Achilles tear, and then won Player of the Week a few weeks into it. Come on, this is ridiculous. So, the Celtics very clearly are in that tier, or I would say very clearly, but it seems like the Celtics are in that top contender tier with the Spurs and the Thunder. The Pistons losing Cade now, let's see what happens there. But there was always, I think, some well-founded skepticism about can the Pistons really win a championship where they only have one real primary ball handler? There's just so much to put on Cade's shoulders there. And the Knicks, who knows? The Knicks, the Cavs, two teams that it's they got the talent, they've got the potential to do it, and they've been good generally good lately in the second half of the season. So it's possible for them. But with the way the Celtics have been playing this year, and now getting Tatum back, and Tatum's really hitting his stride here, they just seem like the very obvious top contender.
Yeah, I agree.
Jared Weiss, his X handle, easy enough to follow. Jared Weiss, NBA. You can also see his byline at The Athletic. Jared, we always love dipping in, man. Thanks for hanging out. And I would think we'd be able to dip in on some Spurs playoff talk once they get deep enough and make a run there. So we'll chat with you again in the future, man.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Don't do drugs, Jared. There you go.
If you learned anything today.
All right. I'll take the break. We'll come back. We've got another pair, our final pair of Jazz tickets to give away today on a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. So stay dipped in here. Stay listening. We've also got an NFL Blitz. A lot of the goings on in the NFL, and just so much to be able to chat about here. Will Mike McCarthy get his man? Can Mike McCarthy convince Aaron Rodgers one last ride? We'll talk about it next. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. Thank you for being with us. So Team USA is 2 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses all time versus Portugal, who they are currently playing in a friendly. I always love friendlies. Don't say friendly, though.
No other sport has friendlies.
Can we just not call it friendly? Just don't, because I think
this is an intense competition. Why are we calling these things friendly? What's the point of a friendly?
I know. When I see the term friendly, I think no one's trying. And I know there's a little bit of that, but it's not really totally that way, especially when people are warming up for the World Cup. Like, some dudes are busting their butts to make a roster on probably both sides of these teams, but how many guys are on a roster? 23 for the World Cup?
It's up to 26 now.
Is it? Anyway, my whole thing is, come on, don't call it a friendly. Just say international exhibition. Now, exhibition has the same vibe, though. What can we call it? How can we rebrand friendly, Annapolis? I don't know. I don't know how to rebrand it. I'm going to think on it. Hey, the NFL Blitz right here upon you. Before we do it, though, how about we open up some phone lines here, and we're going to kick this thing off. We'll put a pause on our NFL music for a moment as we get you ready to win some Jazz tickets on a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Let's do it.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the 3. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All you have to do is give us a call right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. Get a pair of tickets to see the Jazz versus the Nuggets tomorrow at Delta Center as the countdown continues to be done with this regular season. You can go in and watch potential multi-MVP winner in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, look like he's not trying, but be the best player on the court. No problem. Do you think he gets taken away? Do you think people does it add to his mystique that he looks like he's bored? Or do you think that...
Yeah, he makes it look easy.
Or do you think that it actually makes it like even more impressive?
No.
Like, oh, he doesn't look like he's doing very much.
It makes it's.
He cries over horses, and he doesn't care about his job as a.
I think it's a flex.
As a player.
It's definitely a flex.
It might be the best flex ever. Just somebody who goes, I kind of don't even care, and I'm still beating all these
I'm
guys.
just tiered till I don't get fined.
I love how you gave him a Scandinavian accent.
Missed on that one. That was a whiff.
Nikola Svensson.
It's fancy.
All right, I'm going to do a little game here with you, JJ, as we get into the NFL Blitz. It's like an ad lib, or it's like a Mad Libs that you played when you were a kid.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a head coach and a quarterback, all right? Blank, the head coach, says his QB blank will lead their team blank to the, quote, promised land.
So it would have to be the worst team in the league, right?
I don't know. I don't know if that's – I don't know. I mean, because, listen, I feel like there are a lot of coaches who –
What coach in franchise saying that would just make you just absolutely just stunned? Like, how could you possibly say that?
There's actually – what's crazy, it's a handful in my mind.
I'm going with the Jets.
Aaron Glenn says QB Geno Smith. Don't forget Geno Smith.
You can't be serious.
We'll lead the Jets to the promised land. Okay, let's do another one then. Clint Kubiak says if we get Fernando Mendoza, he will take us to the promised land. Which one of those is true? Which one of them
I think Mendoza has a chance to take him to the promised land at some point eventually. I don't think you can say that Geno Smith could take what's the promised land for the Jets? 9-8?
Mike McCarthy says his quarterback Aaron Rodgers could lead the Steelers to the promised land.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The first round of the playoffs? What's the promised land for the Steelers this year?
What would the promised land for the Jets be? By the way,
the Jets.
Good guess. It was the Jets.
Okay.
It was Aaron Glenn and the Jets over-promising and under-delivering. Certainly under-delivering. So there you go. Let me see here.
The Jets are just so far away.
The Seahawks and the Patriots are actually going to be the next two teams on HBO's Hard Knocks. That's pretty wild.
I like
the two
that.
teams playing in the
Hey, good.
Yeah, it's been normally reserved for garbage teams that we want to make fun of.
I like that the teams are opening things up. It's going to be good entertainment.
Look, I don't know, were the Patriots ever a Hard Knocks team?
I don't think so.
I just don't feel like Belichick would ever have signed off on it. And I bet that, like, Robert Kraft probably approached him and be like, this is good publicity for us. He's like, that's a no. I don't know if they ever were, but there you go. Lamar Jackson says that the Ravens, that he might skip the offseason workouts of the Ravens. Which in my mind, I'm cool with that. If I'm the Ravens, I go, get right, bro.
Yeah. I'm not worried about
an injured Lamar Jackson.
Going to OTAs.
By the way, the only Raven or the only quarterback that really could make such a difference to lead that team to the a franchise, a singular franchise that if they don't have him, they kind of don't have a chance. I think it's the Ravens might be toward the top of that list of teams that have to have that guy to be able to be elite. Patrick Mahomes feels like that for the Chiefs. Who else?
I mean, the Bills.
Oh, Jared Allen.
You got to have Josh Allen.
Or Josh Allen. Jared Allen, he was also a phenomenal player, but other side of the ball.
I would say that with the Broncos and Bo Nix at this point.
I saw the memes going around this week of Jared Stidham saying he was, out there to compete for the starting job, and everyone's like, "Pah!"
Oh, man.
You can't say that out loud.
No.
Come on.
No chance. They got Jalen Waddle, so championship.
Hey, Waddle's a great pickup. And you revitalize a guy, too.
Worry they gave too much up for him. Maybe they didn't learn a lesson from Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah. You revitalize a guy who's depressed in the place that he's at.
He's an elite talent.
Yes.
We knew that coming out of Alabama.
Yeah.
So maybe it finally clicks in Denver at the level that it was intended to click at. He's been good in Miami. I don't know that he's been all-pro level, so see if he can get there.
So do you think that A.J. Brown and Nick Sirianni is a marriage that's going to last very long?
No. It felt weird last year, right?
Well, how about how the commentary that's been made by Nick Sirianni out of Philadelphia right now is right now he's a Philadelphia Eagle. You're like,
right now,
I don't like that. And then Mike Vrabel, by the way, has made it very clear that he is very interested in trading for A.J. Brown.
They got to replace Stephon Diggs.
I know.
That'd be a nice pickup and a really good fit.
I think the weirdest fit ever for a quarterback would be Fernando Mendoza at the Raiders, by the way. That would just be so wild.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Just that guy suiting up for the Raiders and being like, just happy to be out here winning games. Just want to give, first and foremost, shout out to the Lord for a great game while he's wearing the black and silver.
Doesn't fit. But hey, maybe that's exactly what the Raiders need.
Could you imagine him coming in and becoming an all-time Raider great? Just that dude with the goofy smile on his face and just wins. You know what I mean? It would
couldn't
be awesome.
find a more opposite Kenny Stabler quarterback, right? It just doesn't match.
The snake would never.
The Raiders may need to turn a corner on that. And if they want to win at a high level and they got a shot at getting a Heisman Trophy winner that won a national championship, you don't get that very often, so they got to take him. He's a winner, right?
So the competition committee got together, and I don't know what it's going to do like immediately, except for they're going to have some changes to officiating. And they said, excuse me, the changes they're making actually put us in a very interesting moment because it says if the officials union doesn't approve, you know what we're going to have at the beginning of the year? Replacement refs.
No.
Remember that whole deal?
Oh, not again.
Hey,
please no.
I benefited. Huge.
How did you benefit? Oh, the
Seahawks got the greatest call on the planet. When those two referees looked at each other and both gave
shame,
and they both gave the wrong. They both looked at each other and were like, "Yeah, me too." And one went touchdown, and the other one went.
Yep.
And the other one called the. Called for time to stop and for them to get a look at it, and it was
greatest moments in NFL history.
They went for so then they had to honor the touchdown, and they couldn't overturn it, and it was hilarious.
Clown show, man.
Yeah, and then it came out later. That poor guy, he's like, his last game that he officiated was like the state championships in the state of Washington or something like that. It was like,
poor guy.
As the U.S. goes down 1-0 against Portugal. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. I'm praying for the replacement refs. Just so you have elite talent with terrible officiating. What a great combo. It's always fun to watch it. All right. We'll take that break. We'll come back. Did we get the last ticket winners, by the way? All right, nice. We'll come back. We'll put a bow on it for this hour, and we'll come right back with the best and worst. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Do you love rom-coms? Do you wish you could talk about Christmas movies year-round? Then we have the perfect podcast for you, Hallmarkies Podcast. Throughout the year, we cover all things romance, holiday, and Hallmark, including recaps of every Hallmark show, like When Calls the Heart and The Way Home. You can also get loads of bonus content covering shows like Bridgerton, Sweet Magnolias, and Just Like That. We are an all-female group of friends who are passionate for these shows and movies and give our honest opinions as well as gush over what we love so much. But that's not all. Every Monday, there are interviews with all your favorite actors, writers, directors, and more. Check out Hallmarkies Podcast on all your podcast providers and on YouTube. That's Hallmarkies Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Who wins more games this year? Kyle Whittingham or Morgan Scalley?
Morgan Scalley. Book it.
All right.
I'm serious.
Napolis, what do you think? You agree? You're nodding your head like you're on board.
Compare the schedules.
Tough in the Big Ten, I agree. But they feel like they have a national championship type team. Now, here's the deal. What's his name? Bryce Underwood?
Yeah.
That guy has been woefully unprepared. Did you know they didn't have a dedicated quarterback coach at Michigan?
That's insane.
So Witt was asked about it. He goes, what do you – like this is a guy who's pretty unrefined still. He goes, yeah, we have a guy who has all the tools, and he didn't have a dedicated quarterback coach. We thought that was pretty insane. But now Jason Beck, who obviously is the offensive coordinator, but they also have Coy Detmer. Remember they brought Coy Detmer over to Michigan?
Yep.
And
Coy Detmer Jr.?
He's like – and what's his Whittingham was like, those two guys, they know everything what they're doing. And I have complete confidence those guys are going to – he has mechanics stuff that they can fix. And I just thought, man, but they feel like they have a national championship in them in the next 2 or 3 years.
That I buy.
Just not this year, maybe.
Just not yet.
Take a minute.
Year one, you mentioned I'm not sold on Underwood yet, and there's going to be some personnel wrinkles they got to work out, but I think they can get there because of his staff and what they're doing. It's Michigan. You're going to be able to go get the guys you want, but not this year. And the Big Ten, I mean, Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, even USC.
Are they playing all of them?
So their schedule is Western Michigan, Oklahoma, UTEP, Iowa, Minnesota, Penn State, Indiana, Rutgers, Michigan State, Oregon, UCLA, and Ohio State. I don't think they beat Ohio State. I don't think they beat Oregon at Oregon. I don't think they beat Indiana. And I'm not sure about Penn State or Iowa. And Oklahoma, I mean, toss-up. So there's 3 or 4 losses there, I think. Does Utah have 3 or 4 losses on their schedule? I don't think so. And Shehan, his piece earlier, he thinks they're going to go 10-2 in the regular season. I agree. I could see them doing the same thing that they did last year. The schedule's not as challenging. It doesn't have Texas Tech on it this year, right? No Texas Tech.
No Texas Tech. I don't think for BYU or Utah.
That's correct.
Right?
That's why Texas Tech's schedule's so easy.
That's what I was going to say. Everybody goes, oh, that's kind of nice. But then you go, wait a minute.
That
means they're not playing either of them.
That's not fair.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Hey, best and worst right here on the program as we wrap things up here for this hour. Let me see here. Oh, best of the day. How about BYU making it to the WBIT championship after they beat Kansas in the tournament semifinals? So the WBIT, this is the new women's NIT?
There is still a WNIT, but I think this is the better tournament.
This is the better tournament now.
Yeah.
Who are they playing in the final then?
Columbia.
Ivy League, huh?
Yes.
Bonus points for Annapolis if we can get the mascot for Columbia.
No? Lions.
You got it. This guy doesn't miss on the mascots.
Nerd alert.
I want to be honest. When I was in college, I think I studied all like 350 of the like NCAA Division I basketball teams. Like we had it in a packet that my roommates and I would look at, and we'd quiz each other. I think I spent more time on that than I did in actual school.
You know what? That's your parents' money well spent.
I know. Hey, Mom, you got a C in American Heritage.
But I can name all 365 Division I basketball team mascots. Bet you can't do that.
Let me ask you this, Mom. Who are the Salukis?
Southern Illinois, son.
Of course.
Everybody knows that.
So there you go. BYU marching on in that extra basketball. And Lee Cummard. Listen, Lee Cummard.
We need to give Lee Cummard some praise.
We covered that guy when he was the actual played on Dave Rose's team. I love that dude came back and is doing this.
Yep.
I love that you think about the legacy that Juddy built down there, and you go,
yep.
I'm glad that Lee Cummard's having that success. Hey, the worst is, here we go, Tiger Woods.
Oh boy.
Hey, we have a police report.
We have an update. He's also announced this afternoon that he's going to rehab.
Good time to do it.
Yeah, he needs it.
Could he wait 2 weeks, play in the Masters first?
So does that mean he's not going to be at the Masters?
People are like, is he going to be at the Champions Dinner? And I'm like, come on, you guys. So, fine. He didn't do the urinalysis, right? Refused that. And then he blew double zeros on the breathalyzer because the impairment that was presumed by the officer on scene was of something else. Mm-hmm. So the report says that Tiger Woods, when they got him out of the vehicle, they said, what's the problem? He said that he was looking at his phone and was distracted. That's why he hit it. Witnesses say that they saw him attempt to pass the truck. But the truck also was turning into the driveway. So, but he refused the breathalyzer. They asked him about taking a field sobriety test. He brought up, hey, my ankle's bad. It stiffens up. They said he was having a hard time walking in a straight line as it was. They also said he was, quote, sweating profusely, and his eyes were dilated, the most I've seen in quite some time, said the officer. Sweating profusely, eyes dilated, slurred speech, having a problem. When asked about if he had taken prescription medications, I take a few. Redacted from the report were the prescriptions that he mentioned. So I would presume that those redacted prescriptions listed there are probably going to be the thing that when the redaction ends up not being a part of the conversation anymore, then we see why Tiger Woods is getting ahead of it with rehab. Okay? So I hope he pled not guilty also. So he's going to kind of fight the back and forth here. But do the math from a social standpoint and for a career standpoint and what your view of Tiger Woods is when he gets hit with a DUI, gets arrested for an alleged DUI, but says not guilty, pleads not guilty, doesn't take the urine test, doesn't do all the stuff, and he's avoiding all of it, but then also checks himself into rehab. So do the math. It's not a good look. And I feel bad for his kids because they're the ones that are getting, they're old enough now that they're in all the things. And like Charlie's at every major like junior tournament you could imagine. And you're trying to like put together a career of your own as he gets ready, I think, to play for Florida State, right, in college?
Yeah.
It's weird times, man. Just this guy has had the most strange. We've had some wild lives lived by professional athletes, but the last 17 years for Tiger since the fateful Thanksgiving that we all...
It's taking many turns.
It's been absolutely crazy.
I hope you can get healthy.
I just imagine that when you're that type of pressure and that type of... Like, it just would be so hard to be normal, right?
Yeah, it would.
And for his case, probably really, really hard to feel normal, like as a baseline.
Yeah, and you get to age 50 and you're not able to compete at that high level, and you think you still can, and you're fighting through the injuries, and you got to take painkillers for the pain.
You're hurting all the time.
Yeah, he's in constant. I can't imagine what it's like to be him, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. We've got more to go right around the corner. 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Do you love rom-coms? Do you wish you could talk about Christmas movies year-round? Then we have the perfect podcast for you, Hallmarkies Podcast. Throughout the year, we cover all things romance, holiday, and Hallmark, including recaps of every Hallmark show, like When Calls the Heart and The Way Home. You can also get loads of bonus content covering shows like Bridgerton, Sweet Magnolias, and Just Like That. We are an all-female group of friends who are passionate for these shows and movies and give our honest opinions as well as gush over what we love so much. But that's not all. Every Monday, there are interviews with all your favorite actors, writers, directors, and more. Check out Hallmarkies Podcast on all your podcast providers and on YouTube. That's Hallmarkies Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.